Hi everyone, I'm Justin Elicker, candidate for mayor. So the Harp campaign recently conducted a phone poll testing negative messages about me. You may have read about it in the press or even gotten a call yourself. The poll states a bunch of negative statements about me and asks people if it changes their opinion on my candidacy. When the Harp campaign gets data back on what statements seem to change people's minds, they'll use them in negative advertising to try and slander me. So the poll gives us an idea of what they'll use against me. The thing is, every negative question they're testing is either misleading or an outright lie. Now we've got to be prepared to deal with Harp's negative campaigning before it happens. So I'm going to go through their 7 statements and set the record straight. And I'm going to need your help talking with your neighbors and friends to make sure that we debunk these misleading statements. First statement. Justin tried to take away a fire truck in Morris Cove, but he wanted to keep or add one in his own East Rock neighborhood. Not true. Harp already tried this one in the primary and it didn't work. I did fight to keep Engine 8 on Whitney Avenue, but I never said that I would take away a fire truck from Morris Cove. In fact, the first time I talked about the East Shore fire engine, and every time since, I've explicitly stated that I would not take away the engine or jeopardize safety in any way. This was a lie when Tony accused me of this in the primary, and it's a lie now. Second statement. Justin tried to fight the last revaluation so that he could lower taxes for his wealthy East Rock neighborhood and raise taxes for low-income neighborhoods. Also not true. The proposal introduced by John DeStefano would have slowed the tax increase for homeowners throughout the entire city. The entire Board of Aldermen supported it, but more importantly, Tony herself supported it and got it passed through the state Senate. Third statement. Justin doesn't know that food stamp recipients receive on average $4.80 a day and think people on food stamps need better budgeting skills. Misleading. SNAP benefits do not pay enough to feed a family for the entire month, an issue I specifically acknowledged could not be solved through better budgeting. What the city can do is bring together organizations such as City Seed, CARE, the Land Trust, and the Housing Authority to help people optimize their purchases to make the money last longer. The city then needs to take over where the federal government falls short and make sure that every family has enough to eat. Fourth statement. Justin says he supports schools, but he voted to cut the education budget when he was on the Board of Aldermen. Well, first of all, this statement is false. I voted to flat fund the Board of Education, not cut it. But most importantly, supporting schools doesn't mean blindly throwing money at them. When asking the Board of Aldermen for approval of an additional $3 million, the superintendent of schools couldn't tell us what he would use the money for. I demanded accountability, and when the superintendent couldn't explain how he would use the money, I proposed not approving the increase. Statement 5. Justin worked in the State Department under George Bush's administration and helped implement George Bush's foreign policy. I joined the State Department after 9/11. I was looking for a way to serve my country. When you disagree with leadership, and I disagreed with a number of George Bush's foreign policies, you have 2 choices. You can either quit or you can stay to advocate for what you think is right and do the best job with what you have control over. I chose the latter. Statement 6. Justin wants to alter city employee pension plans, unfairly penalizing city employees and throwing their retirement funds into jeopardy. The defined contribution plan Justin favors is reminiscent of George W. Bush's failed Social Security privatization plan. It looks like the Harp campaign strategy is to put the names George Bush and Justin Elicker in the same sentence as many times as possible and see if something sticks. The reality is that Harp doesn't recognize just how dire our fiscal situation is in our city. Instead of using rhetoric and empty promises, we need to find a better balance between employee benefits and our ability to pay for them. What's not fair is for politicians to promise New Haven employees benefits that we won't be able to pay for. And finally, Statement 7. Justin used taxpayer dollars to fund his campaign when that money should have been used for youth programs. Harp has made several attacks on New Haven's public financing system, a clean election system that I opted to participate in and she didn't. Here's the thing. If Harp doesn't believe in public financing, then why did she take more than $84,000 from the state's public financing system for her 2008 election? Now that we've set the record straight, I want to underscore one more thing. What's most disturbing about this poll, more than the false accusations about my policy positions and experience, is Tony's apparent lack of knowledge of the poll and its content. This is becoming a pattern where people in Tony's campaign regularly speak for her in the press and present her policy proposals for her. Harp appears to be an unengaged spectator in her own campaign for mayor. That's not leadership. Look, I'm proud of the campaign I'm running because I personally make decisions based on my opinions and my values. Just as I know the details of every poll we put out, I'll know the details of every policy my administration implements. Taking ownership over your decisions and those of your employees has to be a prerequisite to being mayor. We've got 3 weeks before the election, and I'm going to need your help correcting misinformation and moving beyond politics as usual. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you around the city.